At Apex, we're more than just a health insurance brokerage. Our job is to really help our clients with all of their employee benefits needs, and especially HR consulting.
Due to the economy, a lot of businesses have had to lay off employees, and if an employer doesn't follow an HR compliant procedure when it comes to letting these employees go, they can open themselves up to huge lawsuits. Age discrimination, wrongful termination lawsuits, the list goes on and on. With all of the layoffs we saw in 2008, there was a 29% increase in age discrimination lawsuits filed against employers, which was the biggest increase we've seen in the last 3 decades. Another area where a lot of employers get sued is unpaid overtime hours. If you have an hourly paid employee and they're not paid overtime hours properly, they can literally go back 3 years and sue you. All of a sudden, you have a bunch of employees jump on the bandwagon and file a class action lawsuit against you, which is basically what happened with Starbucks a few years ago. It cost them millions of dollars in fines and penalties. Here's something that a lot of employers aren't aware of. In California, there is a law, Regulation AB 1825, that requires employers with 50 or more employees to have their HR department facilitate 2 hours of sexual harassment training for managers. And for smaller companies, it's even more important to have an HR compliant sexual harassment training because the liability for the business owner is even greater. And it's not just for the male employees. Female employees need to know what is deemed inappropriate as well. In fact, statistics show that 13% of all male employees are filing sexual harassment claims against female employees, so it's not just a one-way street anymore. It's not just a matter of one employee making a lewd comment to another employee. With email and social media like Facebook and MySpace, and even texting on a cell phone, if an employee is looking at something personal on their computer, like a picture or a joke that another employee sees and feels offended, that can be the beginning of a sexual harassment claim. That's why you need a certified HR professional to train your employees. Because if you don't, you're really opening yourself up for a huge lawsuit. A lot of employers with less than 50 employees may say, I'm not mandated by the state of California to do all of this. And although that's true, and you don't have to do this, all it takes is one employee to file a lawsuit against you, and you could lose your whole company. Sexual discrimination, pregnancy discrimination, disability discrimination, racial discrimination, wrongful termination, all of these things can bring a company down to its knees. And they can be so easily prevented if you have the proper training, record keeping, and files to back up and protect you. That's why companies use our HR consulting. For companies with more than 50 employees, their HR directors use our services because we specialize in HR compliance and employee litigation. HR directors are so busy hiring, firing, and running the day-to-day operations, they don't have the time to be compliance experts. For companies with less than 50 employees, many of them can't afford a full-time HR professional, so they use our service on a membership basis. We even have prepaid plans as low as a few $100s a month. All it takes is one unhappy employee to ruin your life and ruin your business. Our job is to make sure you're protected against these types of unscrupulous employees.
You know, with all the issues that face employers today, and because it seems like everyone wants to sue everyone nowadays, it's become more and more important for employers to protect themselves when it comes to employee liability. Our HR consulting department really specializes in making sure that our clients, our employers, are really protected, especially when it comes to employee liability.